Hello, I am Catherine. As you know, I make videos in English, German, and Greek. I speak a lot about end time. You can give a look to my website. I write down in the information, but also in my other channel, Makt Jesu. Yesterday, Switzerland had its National Day, and the shock came. 39% customs duties put President Trump upon Switzerland. And Switzerland sends a lot of goods to America. So it means a lot high unemployment is coming. A lot of problems are coming, not only here, but everywhere in the whole world. And the customs duties President Trump put on other countries, in the first line, it will destroy America. And this is the plan, to destroy America, to destroy the West, to destroy the old world order, and to bring the new world order. I said, I don't know, some people who know my videos, perhaps they remembered, in February I said in a dream to somebody who had no job, I said, don't worry, because millions of unemployment people will be, jobless people will be very soon. And I meant in Switzerland. And of course, more in other countries, etc. In March this year, I speak about this year, I had the next dream. I said to a neighbor, she should buy a little food because she didn't want to buy anything. She didn't care. So I said, buy finally some food. And then I wanted to leave. I looked back and I saw a tsunami of waters coming. It means suddenly a lot of problems, and it began. The next dream was also in March this year. I saw myself with pastors in America, with believers in America, and I told them California will disappear in the waters, in the ocean. It's coming. So Switzerland, like France, England, and other countries, decided for the two-states solution. And the representative of Switzerland, as I know, spoke yesterday or before yesterday, before the UN. What happened? I told in many videos, if your country, if your government is for the two-state solution, your country will be destroyed. You can't save it. You say America is not. It's coming. Everything is a plan. It's coming. You have a lot of Muslims and communists who tell the government every day, it's coming. Israel will be alone, totally alone. To learn to trust only in the living God, Yeshua HaMashiach. So, a lot of things are coming, some things began. So yesterday was the National Day of Switzerland, and normally it's a day of joy, And people let things in the sky and so. But yesterday was very quiet. It was a shock. The shock came about 39% customs duties. And now people are discussing about the solution. And what think the people? They say if some people lose their job, well, we have to care for them, but as long Trump is in the government for the next 3 years. But they believe, if Trump is away, everything will become like before. Really? Do you believe that? Then you are deceived. Because the end began and we will never again go back. We are go forward, and it means one world government, a world dictator, the Antichrist, absolute control. They already control, they know what I say, they know what, a lot of things, they know what you say. I mean, we are under control already, not total control, but it's coming. I told in many videos about President Trump. I am perhaps one of very few Christians who are not pro-Trump. I am not pro-Trump, I am not anti-Trump. I know because God showed me in dreams who is Trump. So the first dream I had, I saw Trump as a black lion. And I knew in the dream he's not a Christian. He betrayed the Christians. He's a trap for the Christians. So now everybody who hates Trump hates Christians. And when Trump is away, you can imagine what will happen. Already begun. Some people began already to attack Christians, but remember what will happen very soon, much more. The second Trump did what Obama did. Obama went 20 years to a church to tell people he's a Christian to become president, but Obama is a Muslim. God showed me in a dream. So the second dream was, I saw Trump at a woman. God didn't want that I see the face of the woman, but I knew they are traitors. They sold themselves. They sold us. In the third dream, I was very tired because I was evangelizing, preaching in another place far away. I came back very late and I said, God, I am so tired, but if you want to show me who you will become president, you can do that. It was some hours before the election in America. And some hours later, I saw Trump on the floor, but dead. So I knew he will become the president as he became. But I believe President Trump will be taken out soon when he has done what he must do, because he is not, how can I say, he was chosen to bring some things to prepare the new world order, And so he will be taken out when he has done what he should have done. People, you see every day the lies. We are so deceived. We are so manipulated, so indoctrinated. Every day, these fake videos. Genocide in Gaza. How is it possible that in Gaza happens genocide if every year the people in Gaza are increasing because new children are born? Where is genocide? I mean, if you have war, if you have such things, hunger and starvation, you don't have so many children. I mean, whatever. There is no genocide in Gaza. The opposite. They become more and more. And we see videos with, you will see in the front, I will put a picture. You see a woman, she should be the mother, 150 kilos heavy, and she has a skeleton in her hands, alive. And she says, we don't have food and this and that. How is it possible? You see the same child in the hands of a man who is well fed, and he says he's so respectless. He moved the child, the skeleton, so, and he says, oh, we don't have food and this and that. Now Hamas even sends everywhere videos with pictures of hostages who are really in the tunnels for 2 years and more now. Can you imagine? And they are really hungry. They make videos and they say they eat what we have to eat, the same. But the Hamas make advertisement in social medias, they make pictures how good food they have because they want more soldiers to come to Gaza for Hamas. So why they do that? Because they know the manipulated, indoctrinated, foolish West will not believe everything when they see how good they have, how much food they have in the tunnels, the Hamas soldiers. And we saw the pictures when Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, came out from the tunnel with his wife. They were well fed. His wife was well make-upped, made. The scarf was everything okay. And she had a handbag which cost $32,000 in her hand. Well fed. But the hostages that were, which were some meters under them in the same tunnel, died from hunger, from starvation. So you see a lot of false, fake videos and pictures. So what is happening? First, do you know that in the culture, Islamic culture, and I don't know if there is also in other culture, people got married with the relatives of first grade, cousins. Cousins marry cousins, etc. They know that the children will have health problems, but their lust is bigger than the love for the children. So they get married And they have, almost every family has children who are how do you say, geistig, behindert? Yeah, mentally handicapped, or corp handicapped. They are handicaps. So it's good possible. If there is starvation in Gaza, why we see the soldiers of Hamas, good, strong, well-fed people? Why so many people in Gaza are well-fed? Why so many children are well-fed? Why are only one child, you see, is hungry or skeleton, but all around him are well-fed? There are two possibilities. It is a photo, how do you say? I forgot the word. Photomontage, or how do you say? They take children from Yemen, from Syria, from Sudan. We know they do that. And they bring as children in Gaza, but in Sudan, in Yemen, in Syria, children had and have still hunger. And they bring them as children in Gaza, photomontage, or they are handicapped children because of incest of their parents. And how is it possible that the parents are so 100 kilo, 150, 120, and the children are hungry? And how is it possible? You see this child skeleton, but beside him is his brother, and his brother is well fed. How is it possible? Because these children, as I said, it is a photomontage, how do you say? Or the child is handicapped, paralyzed, they can't eat, even if they are years old, many years old, they can't eat because they can't bring food down. Yesterday night, I remembered when I was a child, we visited a family, and this family had such a child like you see in these photos. But it has all the care it was possible, but it was like a skeleton. Can you imagine there was never a war when parents or military or whatever state used children, misused children? These people should be in prison. These parents should be in prison. There was never a war where these people misused their children to bring bad, how do you say, to bring hate against Israel. They do all this to bring hate against Israel. And our governments and our people believe that. Why? Because now we have millions of Nazis in Europe, in America, in Canada, in Australia, in the West. So now the Nazis of the world, became one with the millions of Nazis, how you say, who came as the poor refugees from the Islamic world, and who brought them the UN. The refugee policy of the UN, the climate policy of the UN, the gender policy of the UN, the anti-Semitic policy of the UN was created and pushed only upon the West to destroy the West. Why? Because as long as the West exists, they can't bring the new world order, the world government. So the West must be destroyed and will be destroyed very soon. I told you many times, nuclear war is coming. Today or yesterday, President Trump sent or will send 2 U-boats with 200 nuclear bombs near Russia. I told you nuclear war is coming. I saw the nuclear bomb. It means in Europe we will have it. So if you are not from Europe, if you are from Africa, Asia, Central, South America, prepare your papers. Go home as soon you can, because the day is coming. The borders will be closed. I know many people don't believe these things. Perhaps they bring you here so you are killed in the next nuclear wars because they want depopulation. You know that, not good. Next, I will read something. A moment, where is it? Here. Most of the medias, most of our newspapers are pro-Hamas. Most of our governments are pro-Hamas. Most of our people are pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine, etc. They don't know where is Palestine. They never read something about Palestine. They don't know when was Palestine, who founded Palestine. Nobody. The Caesar of Rome named Israel Palestine. So the Jews were the Palestinians, are the Palestinians, the true Palestinians. The others are Arabs from the surrounding countries. But this is all a plan. Our people were indoctrinated, manipulated in the schools, in the universities, through the mass medias, etc. You see, they go out, the leftists, the communists, our communists, the Islamists, they go out in our cities, but in their countries, the Muslims can't go out and demonstrate. It is forbidden. And the governments of Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar works with the terrorists, Saudi Arabia, whatever, Dubai, etc., Bahrain, etc., they are against Hamas. Why? Because they want to make business. They are oil exported countries. And they know if Hamas continue to exist and all these crazy people, they will destroy everything. But our governments are pro-Hamas. So I read, The Telegraph, some days ago, the Telegraph, BBC is Islamized. Even the king in Great Britain, he likes to speak about Ramadan or other things, halal or whatever, but not about Christianity and about Jesus. So, but there is the Telegraph, and he wrote a very good article when Keir Starmer warned Israel he will accept the two states if they don't stop the war. But Israel didn't begin the war. How they can stop the war? Hamas began the war. So I read what they wrote. This is the darkest day in British foreign policy since the invasion of Iraq, says Jake Wallis Simons. Israel is not trying to kill, starve, or oppress civilians. It is simply trying to defeat the enemy that attacked its people. Yes, we know that. So what wants Starmer? What on earth is Keir Starmer playing at? His threat to recognize a state of Palestine unless Israel obeys his imperious demands against the interest of its own citizens avoids contact with reality and constitutes an abysmal betrayal. We are betrayed. First, the emperor, yes. Do you know, if we see the situation in the West, you really think we are governed. Yeah, I don't want to say now the word. What on earth is Keir Starmer playing at? There are too much mafia on earth. His threat to recognize a state of Palestine unless Israel obeys his imperious demands against the interest of its own citizens avoids contact with reality and constitutes an abysmal betrayal. First, the emperor of Downing Street has commanded the Jewish state to end the war in Gaza. Would that be with or without its hostages, Prime Minister? With or without Hamas remaining in power? Because if Israelis remain in captivity and Hamas remains in place, furthers, excuse me, it is a little difficult, further rounds of bloodshed are a certainty extending the suffering down generations. These are the hard realities that the Israelis must consider, although Starmer has the luxury of ignoring them. Secondly, the PM wants Israel to allow the United Nations to take control of aid distribution. But the reason Jerusalem intervened was that it believed the UN was working hand in glove with Hamas. It is true, which was taking much of the aid and selling it at inflated prices, raising the money it needed to pay its fighters. A moment. Surely not. Surely yes. According to Israeli intelligence, 10% of UN employees in Gaza, about 1,200 men, so many, are card-carrying members of Hamas or Islamic Jihad, and terrorists have made good use of UN facilities. About 12 members of UN staff were allegedly involved in the October 7 atrocities. The UN aid operation was keeping Hamas in power. Without that source of income, the jihadi grip on the Strip was weakening. That is exactly why Hamas made returning aid to UN hands a key negotiating demand. Do you remember in all newspapers was about Israel and the aid, and Israel kills people who goes to take aid and so on? No, Israel didn't kill people. Hamas killed their own people. Why? Why the West and UN and Hamas didn't want that Israel brings the aid inside Gaza? Because when Israel brings the aid is for free. International aid should be for free. But why the UN and Hamas wanted to bring themselves the aid? Because they have a plan. So the trucks came and come with a lot, tons of aid. Millions, whole Europe could live with this aid without work. These people never work. So they bring the aid in Gaza. Tons, tons, tons. Then in Gaza, men with weapons and with masks come. They don't have signs of Hamas, of course. They take the trucks and bring where? To the warehouses, to shopping centers. And there this free aid is sold to the people of Gaza for money. Why? Because Hamas needs money for the many soldiers, terrorists. The Hamas people eat so well, and everybody who is for Hamas in Gaza lives a luxury life. Some people who could abandon Gaza told that who is for Hamas can have a luxury life. Who is against Hamas is poor, and if he makes something, speaks something out against Hamas, he is killed. They don't care. They killed so many thousands people in Hamas. Who cares? Not Hamas of these Palestinians in Gaza. Hamas kills Palestinians in Gaza. Did you know that? Yes, for many years, nothing new. So the UN and USAID together with Hamas bring aid so that Hamas can sell for good money to their own people. If a state today is part of the UN, then it's not anymore a right state. Because the UN and terrorists work together. It is a plan. It's all about the destruction of the West and the destruction of Israel. So don't tell me the elite are Jewish. If the elite is Jewish, why so many things, fake videos, fake news, fake pictures are going around the world to bring more hate against the Jews, to bring more hate against Israel? Because the elites are the synagogue of Satan, as the Bible says, and they are not Jewish. They give themselves Jewish. They are Edom. And I explain in many videos, you can give the word Edom, Edom, it is in the Bible, it's also in the Bible, Esau is Edom, and you have 9 videos, about 9 videos. I asked God some months ago, is the elites really Jewish? And God led me to such another thing that I wondered. And I began to make videos, and it became 8 or 9 videos about Edom. Edom in the Middle East came to Europe, mixed with Rome, Vatican, Europe, America. We speak about the elites. We don't speak about the simple people. So not only the Jews were in all the world, also Edom went in all the world. And you see, America, the government, Rome, it's Rome. Europe, European community, it's Rome. So Hamas sell the aid to their own people. Do they have money? Of course, they receive every month money from the UN, your tax money. Every Palestinian, fake Palestinian, receive money for 80 years now, 80, as refugees. Even if they have 1 or 2 or more houses, even if they have shops, and they are on the paper like refugees and receive money every month. The UN aid operation was keeping Hamas in power, is keeping Hamas in power. Without that source of income, the jihadi grip on the Strip was weakening. That is exactly why Hamas made returning aid to UN hands a key negotiating demand. Ramallah is the capital city of the fake Palestinians in West Jordan land, who is Judea, the center of Israel. Ramallah, where is the PLO leaders, the leaders of Palestinians, the other leaders, they have so many leaders. Ramallah has repeatedly turned down offers of a state that satisfied 100% of its demands. In 2008, for instance, Ehud Olmert, the president of Israel, offered 94% of the West Bank with land swaps for the remainder, East Jerusalem as a Palestinian capital, and the old city turned over to international control, not to mention a tunnel between the West Bank and Gaza, and the right of return for quotas of diaspora Palestinians. And they said no. Why? The Palestinians missed the opportunity. Why? Because their government was playing a long game to destroy the Jewish state using both the bullet and the ballot, both the suicide bomb and international diplomacy. I am not just talking about Hamas. Even the regime in Ramallah pays monetary rewards to anybody convicted of terrorism and failed to condemn October 7 until last month. Take a step back, and the Prime Minister's blind betrayal of the Jewish state is breathtaking. Keir Starmer. Of course, the war is horrendous. Of course, the Israeli government includes some regrettable far-right figures. Of course, mistakes have been made and are made. They are also only people. But how would Starmer's Britain fare if we were invaded by jihadis, so 1,200 of our citizens butchered, lost 258 hostages, and faced an enemy embedded in tunnels beneath one of the most densely populated areas on earth? I shudder to think, what will do our governments if we had the same situation like Israel? I think they will do nothing. They will say, Hamas, take over. Who cares? Here are the facts. Israel did not start this war. Israel did not want conflict. It withdrew from Gaza in 2005, handing the keys to the Palestinians, who then lost control of the territory to Hamas. Israel is not trying to kill, starve, or oppress civilians. It is simply trying to defeat the enemy that attacked its people so brutally almost 2 years ago and get its hostages back. Is that really so much to ask? As messy and imperfect as any democracy may be, also Israel, you would have thought that the international community would understand that it is preferable to jihadism and stand firm until the war is won. Instead, we have all the pressure piling up on Israel and nothing at all up on the Palestinian side, let alone up on Hamas. Worst of all, Starmer's treachery is emboldening the jihadis. Why should they release the hostages and surrender when the world is on their side? International condemnation of Israel was the main reason why Hamas hardened its negotiating position in Qatar last week, resulting in the talks failing. The West is supporting Hamas. The Arabic oil exported countries are for the destruction of Hamas. Free Palestine from Hamas. Rather than a ceasefire deal, Hamas found itself delightfully congratulating Emmanuel Macron on his proposal to recognize Palestine and encouraging other countries to do the same. France prepared to be destroyed. The international community has created an environment in which it is in the interest of Hamas to keep the Palestinians starving, keep the war going, and to keep the hostages in the catacombs. At this point, it is not exaggeration to suggest that Starmer and the other turncoats are doing exactly what Hamas wants them to. And it will only produce one outcome: more cycles of violence in the future. This is what they want. Why is the Prime Minister doing this? A look at some of the Labour MPs who are pressing him to take this action is revealing. Shabana Mahmood, whose Birmingham Ladywell constituency has a Muslim population of 46%, West Reading, whose Ilford North seat is 23% Muslim. A pattern emerged here. The fact that Starmer appears to care more about domestic politics than he does about true peace in the Middle East is as hypocritical as it is deplorable. The worst of it is that Hamas predicted this all along. Yahya Sinwar knew that October 7 would trigger a war. As a student of recent history, he also understood that before long the West would side with him. All he had to do was ensure a steady stream of footage of suffering Palestinian civilians, fake videos, fake pictures, whether genuine, exaggerated, or fabricated. He knew our leaders would fall for it. Not only the leaders, everybody, almost everybody. This is the darkest day in British foreign policy since the invasion of Iraq. So what we see, the Nazis of Europe and the West, one with the Nazis of the Middle East and the Islamic world. Thousands of fake videos, fake news, fake pictures to bring hate against the Jewish people. But remember, if you live in the West, what is happening there will happen very soon in our countries is already happening. Is already happening. Today I read in our newspaper that many women fears to go out because of men. Which kind of men? You can stop what began. You can stop all this. We are in the last days. Pray to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, forgive my sins, forgive my stupidity, that I believe the lies of the newspapers, of the science, of the governments, of the schools, the universities. Forgive my sins, come in my life, show me the way, write my name in your book of life, so I know when I have to go to leave the world, where I am going. To Jesus Christ, the living God. Alleluia. Goodbye. God bless you.